Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So, what movie are we doing today, Mike?
Well, now, as we've told everybody on numerous occasions, we mainly concentrate on sci-fi, horror, and fantasy, but we also throw in the odd interesting movie that we think people might like. This movie that we're going to review now falls in that category. Now, this movie is called The Encounter. It's a 2011 Christian film. Now, some of you might be going, oh, groan. No. Christian films are good too, okay? And we're reviewing this as a movie. Okay, it's a Christian movie. Fine. It's a good storyline. So we're going to take it along those lines.
So if you're not religious, this might be good for if you're into Twilight Zone or Night Gallery type things.
It's got a Twilight Zone sort of feel to it as well. So it's a good story, but it's got a good Christian feel to it. But it's not grandstanding. It's not something of soapbox yelling down at you and fire and brimstone and stuff. It's a good story. Yeah. And it's a good movie. So that's why we're doing it. Okay.
Quite.
We're not a religious ministry here.
Yeah,
okay.
and so who's
I'm going to go through my normal
stuff.
Okay, yeah. There's quite a few people involved in the production team. We've got Elizabeth Travis, Brittany Lefebvre, I think is the right pronunciation of her last name, Russell Wolfe, Michael Scott, David White, and it's directed by David White as well. It's written by Sean Paul Murphy and Timothy Radizak. I think that's the right pronunciation as well. By the way, I still got touches of flu. I'm getting better. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about it at the moment, but I will say the main actor is a guy called Bruce Marciano.
Yeah, just so you guys know, he's done like several religious movies in the past.
And there's a visual Bible series as well, which was 2016. They did the first episodes, and I think it's done a couple of years later, did another group of episodes. So he's been involved in religious type movies since about 1993, I think.
Yeah, so... Yeah, he's been doing it for quite a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the only other movie he did was more of a werewolf type movie.
Yeah. And his early career, he did ordinary acting. Yeah.
But now
like
he's
anybody would. Yeah.
But now he's his own person and he's doing his own movies.
Well, Bruce has a religious ministry as well, doing charity works and stuff. So this is not about Bruce, but I'm saying that set this up so you can understand who Bruce is.
In short, Bruce made his choice about what kind of actor he wanted to be.
Yeah, and he's staying true to himself, which is what I'm trying to say. So, here we go. Bruce Marciano plays Jesus in this movie. Now, it's a good movie, and he plays it really nice, humble way. Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, a guy called Steve Sting Borden, he plays a nasty, arrogant, self-made businessman type who Jesus can't get through to.
Yeah.
His name's Nick. Yeah, Nick. Now, a girl by the name of Jackie Velasquez plays Melissa. She's a young girl driving off to see her boyfriend across country, hoping that he's going to propose marriage to her or something or other.
Stuff like that.
Now, we've got Jamie Neto. He plays Hank. He's a nice guy heading for divorce. And we've got Dana Davis, that's his wife, Catherine, who wants to divorce him. She wants more out of the relationship.
Yeah, but Hank doesn't want that.
He doesn't want the marriage to dissolve, which is nice. There's a young girl called Madison Gibney. She plays a young girl called Kayla, who's got a lot of...
pent-up issues.
A lot of issues, problems, family, fosterings, whatever. Yeah, not a great lifestyle for a young girl. And here is... the villain of the piece, Cass Connors, plays Officer DeVille, alias, you know who, Satan.
And we're not talking about Cruella DeVille.
No. And it's all done. It's not done weird like a really weird religious movie.
No.
It's done like a really good drama. It's quite good.
Yeah.
It's good watching. So
Yeah, as I said
I'm
before, this is like stepping into the Twilight Zone.
yeah, a bit, yeah.
Even one of the characters remarked that we are in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it's quite funny. Yeah. See, before I start coughing, one of the things Sarah and I did notice in the making of this movie, the clock on the wall didn't change. It was always something like 5 to 8 or 5 to 7. Now, we think themselves could have one of two things. Either they were stuck in time, existing between the minutes or whatever, or the clock was broken. We're not real sure. However, we like to think it was the latter. Well, maybe the first. Yeah, maybe.
I like to think. I like to
Broken
think.
clock,
I like to think it was. They're stuck in time.
Time didn't make any difference.
and
Yeah.
As they often say, heaven, there's no time.
yeah.
It's always forever.
Yeah, so
sort of thing.
maybe the clock not moving was relevant to the movie. It's
Again-
interesting stuff you see in the background, isn't it, folks? Anyway, I'm going to let Sarah take over. I'm going to go away from my microphone so I don't cough too much. I'll be back in a second. Sarah, take it over.
Yeah, so the story begins with a bunch of kiddies who are, well, not really kiddies. I mean, some people are traveling on the woods on a very one-sided road, heading towards their final destination.
The road they're on was closed or something on a detour road, which looks like it's going through the bush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the name of the girl who's the poor one? Again?
Kayla.
Kayla.
It's just hitchhiking,
She's
yeah.
hitchhiking, and she tries to flag down two of the cars.
Yep.
First was Nick's,
The
who was
arrogant guy.
who was practically using his phone to use.
Yeah, he's
at the
trying to
same
get
time.
signal on his phone and stuff, and he
Yeah.
was watching his phone more than the road, and he run her over. Yeah.
Nearly came close. Anyway,
Yeah.
then comes Hank and his wife, Kath.
And Hank wanted to pick her up, and his wife,
Yeah.
who was supposed to be a really nice lady, said, "Don't pick her up."
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, he hears a little teeny weeny voice in his head saying, "Pick her up." I don't know if you can hear me, but that's what he said. The voice said in his
And
head.
then the last car came along, which is
Melissa.
and she heard the voice saying, "Pick her up." So she stopped and picked the young girl up.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Sounds just like with the Good Samaritan story. I don't want to bring that
Well,
up,
the Good Samaritan was laying there beaten up on the side road. Not quite the same thing.
but it does make me think of
Bleh.
it a little bit. So moving on.
Yeah.
Then they come to a blockade. I think it was.
Yeah, the blockade. And there's a policeman, well, sheriff, whatever,
Sheriff or
deputy,
deputy.
whatever.
And
he's saying, "Oh, the road's out." Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, that throws me a little bit. He says the road's out.
Mm.
He could have let him through, and they all could have died.
True. Good point. Anyway,
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
maybe that was a point. So anyway, they're all annoyed, but they decide to. Melissa and Kayla, they found a dino.
They passed the dino.
A while
about 2
ago.
miles back or something.
I don't know if Hank or Nick noticed. They probably didn't.
Yeah.
They were probably the last ones to notice.
And they drove back, and lo and behold, there's a diner there in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and it says "Last Chance Diner." Does that make you think?
Yeah, interesting.
So they head inside, and
Oh, by the way, it's raining with a vengeance by now.
yeah, very very bad, and lots of thunder and lightning.
Yeah. Yeah, not
Yes. Anyway, they head inside, and then they meet this nice man running the diner.
He
Who,
doesn't say who he is, but he got a little name badge on saying Jesus.
yes,
Yeah,
and
lovely.
yeah, and of course they ask for drinks, but all Jesus could serve is water.
Yeah, he doesn't have tea, coffee,
No.
soda, just water. And I think the funny part is, when he gives the water, I'd say, "This is really great tasting water." And he didn't say something, "It's my own recipe," or something.
It was my own recipe.
Yeah.
I don't know the how it's
H2O.
Yeah. But it was funny. Anyway,
It was rather there's a spiritual side of that.
yeah.
About living water, it was in the
Yeah.
Bible. Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway,
Sorry.
so everyone's settling in and they're ordering food, and this is the interesting part is that the food, he says that seeing as they're his only customers tonight, the food will be free, and
And I'll give you what you want.
yes. Yeah. So, and he guesses, say, three of the customers what they wanted,
And he makes
off
it
the spot.
perfectly how they like. There's one girl, she said, "I want steak tips." I think she called it
Yeah.
steak tips on mashed potato smothered in gravy. And because her mother used to make it for her when she was a child for a birthday or something.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, it tastes just the same way as her mom used to make it.
Yeah, and Nick ordered a rare steak. Just so guys know a little bit background for Nick. He's a wealthy businessman, ex-football player, I
Yeah,
think.
in reality, he's a wrestler, isn't he?
Yeah, in
In
reality, yeah.
reality, yeah.
So yeah, so that's an interesting fact. But in
He's
reality,
still playing sports, but
yeah.
anyway, yeah.
And anyway, so he has his own burger chain
Yeah,
restaurants,
and
if you
it's
will.
getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully by the end of the year, if he lives, it would probably go up to I don't know,
There's so many thousands of stores.
say
Yeah,
thousands or more.
yeah. So he's doing really good. Ray Kroc, you better watch out.
True. Anyway, meanwhile, while they're talking, Jesus guessed each and every one of their names. Nick is not surprised because his name, no doubt, would be famous.
And he would have been in the newspapers a
He'll
lot.
be in the
and,
newspapers, magazines, television, maybe.
Yeah.
And so it's not a big surprise to him, but everyone else there is an unknown person.
He knew their names. He knew a bit about families. He knew about what they liked, food-wise. Little things.
Yeah, little things. Of course, Kathy, she wants to leave. She doesn't believe that Jesus says who he is, and she and Nick try to get out of there. And Hank is a little upset because he thought that, thanks to Jesus, that his wife is leaving him.
Yeah.
But Jesus tells him, trust me, and Hank makes a praise out loud, save my marriage, please help me save my
And
marriage.
he said, Jesus, please my marriage. And his wife goes out the car. Nick, they're going to drive off.
But the car
And
doesn't
the car
start.
doesn't start. Funny that, eh?
And this is where I said before about that special quote where Nick says, "We just entered the Twilight Zone."
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's my where I get the idea from.
Yeah, it's a bit of a segue into the old Twilight Zone series, eh?
So they head back into the restaurant, and then they continue talking. And there was even a scene where one of the bread baskets was empty, and then 1 minute it's full again. Meaning, it makes you think of
And there's no waiters or waitresses there. Aha.
Yeah, it was just 1 minute empty, and the next minute pulled.
Yeah, so they give
Damn.
Kayla ate all the bread, and she's sitting there next to Melissa.
Yeah.
Melissa wanted some more bread. It was totally empty, and she turned around. It was full of bread again. There's no 3 or 4 pieces back there again.
Yeah.
How would you miss that in small
Yeah,
with a
so
basket?
both girls head into the bathroom, and Nick made a bit of an insulting remark saying about if Jesus is everywhere, will he be seeing into the toilet? And I think that's a bit disgusting when I think about that. Yeah.
No.
And Jesus remarked to him that while Nick may be able to make a joke about everything, he won't be able to make a joke about just about everything.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
He may be funny, but he's not really funny to me.
He's about as funny as a case of dysentery on a coach trip, isn't he, folks? Yeah.
Well, you have to watch the movie to understand what I'm talking about.
No, he's a real smart ass. Pardon the language, folks, but that's the only way I can say it. He's a real
Yeah.
nasty piece. Yeah.
Yeah. Soon enough, they get they each anyway. Jesus then reveals some of their past. How Hank doesn't want to have their marriage dissolved, but while Kathy, on the other hand, she does want it over, but at the same time feels scared about leaving Hank. I think.
Yeah, she wants something. There's something missing in her life. She doesn't know what it is, and she thinks if she leaves Hank and leaves the marriage, she'll find what she's looking for out in that void that we call life. But she doesn't really know what she's looking for.
Yeah, and
Jesus confronts her on that. You don't know what you're looking for. You're not going to find it out there.
not alone anyway.
They're not alone. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and he
interesting.
tells them about how Melissa, she went through a horrible relationship when she was 17, and she was about to take her life by taking those horrible pills.
Yeah. She's going to take some painkillers from her mother's
Yeah.
medicine
But luckily
cabinet.
enough, one of her friends from school,
Or work or something.
from
Yeah.
work, asked her to come to a special movie, a sort of
A
special
movie showing.
religious film
Well,
festival.
she didn't know it was a special religious thingy. She said, "Oh, he wants to come to a
Yeah.
movie with her." And she found when she got there, it was a religious film festival.
Yeah, she watched it, and it kind of gave her a bit of insight into what she
And
wanted.
then she gave his life over to Christianity.
Yeah, this makes me think of my life
yeah.
story, but I'm not going to go into that one,
but,
obviously.
But that night she became a born again Christian, which was nice. But so she was, I suppose, on the path, but not making necessarily all the right
and
decisions.
Of course, Jesus then tells her that you should not marry your boyfriend because
he's an atheist.
He's an atheist. He doesn't believe, and he will hate her for believing in loving God more than him.
Yeah. And
does that sound familiar, guys? Because that's what I hear a lot.
And the point, he made a good point, because I mean, my in-laws had that sort of problem a little bit. My mother-in-law was a devout Christian, and my father-in-law wasn't. He actually was from a different religion. I can't remember which one it was. But she said, "I don't want you to change." She said, "But I want you to respect what I respect," and he did. And actually, in his own way, he started going to her church anyway, even though he wasn't a member of that church, and he was a really good man in his own way. But he didn't change to her religion, but it was always there in the background.
Yes, moving on. So, anyway, moving on.
Doesn't always work that way.
Yeah. Anyway, eventually, the food comes out, and everyone is kind of overwhelmed by the how much the food tastes
Hank
good.
has a really good burger, best burger he's ever had.
Yeah, and Nick and Joke says they.
I'll take us free tickets back. It's free coupons.
Yeah, he gave him some free coupons for a free burger meal, whatever.
And his wife, Catherine, had something.
Caesar chicken salad,
And
I think
she said,
it
"This
was.
is great, best salads he's ever had." And and
and
Kayla had something. And everyone's saying, "This is great." Yeah.
Except Nick, he thinks it's drugged or
He gets drugged, and everyone's delusional, and so he didn't eat his food.
He then heads off to the bathroom, I think, and then his food is given to Kayla because I guess she's probably really
He's
hungry.
He's on the road a lot. She's hitchhiking, so an extra feed,
And
nice
this is
piece
where,
of steak.
and this is where she reveals her story. She says that her mother has been going in and out of drug rehab and homeless shelters,
and she'd been in foster homes.
And
stuff,
her and her sister have been in foster homes. And when her mother remarried, this man they thought it was a godsend at one point.
He got a job and everything else, and blah, blah, blah.
It turns out he was, they began starting to have fights, and when her mother locked him out of her bedroom, he began seeking bedroom elsewhere.
Her bedroom, so he started to sexually molest her. Yeah. Which wasn't
and
very nice.
She runs away, and she's leaving her
sister.
innocent sister in the presence of him. And even Jesus says that the reason he's made her life so hard is that to make her a strong role model for her sister.
Yeah.
So that's, Anyway, he then tells her that you must go back and report him to the police. Do not kill him or anything like that.
Forgive him.
Forgive him and send him to the police. That way he'll probably then realize what he's done.
And he might repent and everything else and become a good man in the long run.
Eventually, Nick appears and he doesn't hear this story. He doesn't think. I think most of the time he's gone deaf in one ear. When I think about this,
He's deaf in one ear and can't hear out the other one.
Yeah. Anyway, he continues on ranting and raving about how Jesus was responsible for so many major disasters, natural disasters and real disasters like wars and plagues and stuff like that, which is not. I don't think it's all his fault most of the time when I think about it. I often think there's a particular reason behind major disasters, as I often said in the past.
Yeah, and he actually raised it up and said, we're unstable and everything else and yada, 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 and don't blame me for what man's done.
True. Anyway, so moving on. Nick eventually gets a little bit of insight by eating some special cherry pie that Jesus made that similar recipe to his
grandma
made, and he got kind of gets a flashback to his grandma when he was probably about 6 or 5, I'm not sure, and he then Jesus then recollects, tells him about how when he was young, when he was a kid, he was happy. His family
Yeah.
didn't think about wealth. They thought about
Yeah,
how little they had, but
his
at the
dad was
same time, happy they were.
a fruit vendor, wasn't he? Son?
Yeah, he was a
Fruit and
fruit
vegetable
vendor.
vendor.
Yeah, they
And
were
he didn't
happy. They were satisfied with what little they had, and did okay for themselves. But
Yeah.
when Nick went off to high school and college, his lifestyle
Because
changed.
he's going to an upper class school because they could afford it because of all the hard work his dad did, and all his friends came from rich families, and he was
Yeah,
ashamed.
lawyers and doctors, you
Yeah,
name
he's
it.
ashamed of his where he came from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and when his friends saw him at his father's fruit stand, they laughed at how.
He's standing there in his apron and stuff, and
Yeah,
yeah.
and
So he didn't like where he came from.
yeah, and he did mention a couple of times about the Bible and about how the religious stuff, even though I don't think it's.
Yeah, he was quoting from the Bible. He grew up with the Bible. He
Yeah.
did quote things
Yeah,
to
he
it.
did.
Interesting.
He even said one night he read the Bible, and I guess he read the bad parts, like the Hittites and Canaanites were destroyed by the the Jewish and
Yeah,
other people.
and today you'd call it genocide. Yeah, but
Yeah, but
well, you got a point.
but if they were still around, wait, they could have been. I think they would have been causing more problems for.
Probably.
I'm only guessing.
I don't know.
Anyway, eventually, after this conversation is over, Deputy DeVille appears, telling them, "Guess what? The road's clear. You can go now." Ah. But
And Jesus says, "No, it's not. He's lying."
but Nick doesn't believe him, and Jesus, with you could tell in his eyes, begging him that you don't have to do this. You can just believe in me and stuff. He said earlier that I don't expect you to become a priest and give all away your possessions. I want you to let me in.
Be a good man. Yeah.
Let me in.
Yeah, let
is
me
what
in
he says.
and be a good man and lead a good life. Yeah.
Yeah, but Nick is happy doing things on his own
Yeah,
without the
I
help
don't
of.
need you. I don't need anybody. Blah blah blah. You know that
Yeah,
sort of thing.
so the others, they remain in the diner.
So Nick follows the sheriff or
And
deputy
before
out,
they head out the door, the deputy looks at Jesus
and
and
he
says,
holds the finger up.
he says, one
One.
is
He's-
mine. And Jesus
he
says,
"I got 4."
and Jesus says, 4 are set free.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like it's a game.
Yeah, well,
Game, set, and match.
and
yeah.
of course, dear old devil says, we'll meet again someday, in a creepy way.
Yeah.
Anyway, they then have the cars, and we could see that Jesus is pretty much sad that he lost one of his people. You know, it's a sad thing.
You're so close, but anyway,
Yeah.
irrespective.
And he was,
the part that gets me right now, he went there and his car started. Interesting, hey?
yeah, and the sad part is to me is that Jesus came down there to help all of them, even Nick.
And Nick didn't want
Nick didn't, and he was doing this out of love for his grandmother, his parents,
Yeah.
all his family who
Yeah.
may have been in heaven, who've been probably praying for him to redeem himself, to come to Jesus, but he didn't.
He's going to a warmer place.
Yes, and eventually they drive off, and then we hear a skidding on the roads, and then, well, that's about it.
And
I could say.
when they leave a little bit later, they go down there and check out the road, and it's still barricaded.
Mm-hmm.
And the deputy there says, "Oh, there's been an accident up the road."
Yeah, not Deville's
No,
deputy.
he wasn't there.
This
there.
was a new.
Sure. We'll get on to that.
I know, go
Okay.
on.
And they ask about DeVille. Never heard of him.
No.
So, and then they realised one that was Kayla.
Yeah.
The young girls are
Yeah,
DeVille.
she pronounced the name.
Slowly. DeVille.
D-
Oh, devil. Oh, okay.
Now they.
Because there was a car accident. Oh, the road was blocked for the car accident.
Yeah, it's a BMW.
So
That's the car
the road
that.
wasn't out.
Yeah. See, Nick's car was a BMW.
A BMW, yeah.
And that's what Nick was driving, and it's crashed.
Bugger.
Meaning, anyway.
It's broken.
So Melissa and Kayla, they head back to Los Angeles, and so that Michelle could contact
Yeah, so-
child services
Yeah.
and help
And report
Michaela.
her stepfather for doing naughty things. And Melissa was going to has officially dumping her intended
Yeah,
and get on for life and find somebody more suited.
yeah, or maybe even a better.
Oh, I just said more suited to
Yeah.
somebody. And Jesus said, look, I got other things in store for you. You don't need this guy in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And Kathy and Hank, they head back to the location of the
Well,
diner
and it
because the
wasn't-
deputy at the site there says that
There's
there's
no
no diner
cafe.
there.
And they went back, and guess what? It's morning. It says the sun came up, and lo and behold,
The diner's not there
and they said, well, it must be in the wrong place. And they both realised it is.
because there's a lot of road. There's a lot of
There's a space there, and the tyre marks were there from where
Yeah.
they were, but there was no diner. And see, Kathy, who was supposed to be a really nice lady, going to church every Sunday and doing Sunday school and blah, blah, blah.
She teaches Sunday school.
And she was so negative, then she started to realise that Jesus was intervening in her life to help save her marriage. And I think that's when she realised that maybe Hank was the right man for her.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she then flashbacks to the last moments when Jesus was talking and realized that Jesus was in there, kind of helped their marriage in the end.
Yeah, lovely.
And then much later on, we then see I'm going to say his real name because
Who's that?
Dave White, who's sitting in a nice possible near a hotel type
Oh, yeah,
restaurant,
right, yeah.
and he's approached by a man
The waiter.
and he says, "Do you want menu or special order?" And we see it's Jesus,
He's in Thailand now.
and the
Yeah.
credits start to roll. The end.
Ah.
And I do think this movie is an awesome one,
Yeah.
and I highly recommend it.
No, I know. So some of you might be going, oh, yeah, Christian movie. Yeah, if you put the Christian part away, it's a good sound movie, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But for those of you who want to take the Christian message on there, it's good as well. But it's really a life thing, you know. It's okay. It's time for reassessment sometimes, yeah. All of us. But my thing with this movie is this guy, Bruce Marciano, he's played Jesus in several movies, and he doesn't do it in the time tradition way of Cecil B. DeMille's guys. He just plays an ordinary guy, like the guy sitting next to you in a restaurant or on a bus or a train or
That's what I think.
yeah, and he's just a really, really, really nice guy.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
nice people you meet on, as you said before, Mike, on a train or a cafe, and they talk to
Yeah,
you, not talk at you, but talk with you on
Yeah.
subjects.
Yeah. So how many times you heard of stories about people going into a bar and talking to a bartender and unloading all their problems over a couple of beers, and they sometimes feel a lot better after unloading it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hey, was that Jesus behind the bar? Yeah, who knows? But anyway, that's the same sort of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Another interesting
but-
thing about this movie, the actor who plays Nick, who was openly opposed by Jesus and his religious stuff. In reality, the actor is a devout, born-again Christian.
Yeah, and I think that the girl Melissa, that Jackie Velasquez, I think she's a devout Christian too. I think she does talks and stuff as well. I don't know.
That's nice.
So they have the people involved in this. Well, I would presume, from what I can see, I don't know all the bios, are all Christian people with a good Christian base and want to make some good reach out movies. Is that the best way to reach out movie?
Yeah, reach out is always good.
And it doesn't hurt to sit back and reassess yourself. And this sort of makes you start thinking, is my life all that good? Yeah. Yeah. Again, this isn't a religious forum or soapbox or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
but-
after they did the both movies in 2016, Bruce starred in a TV series also called The Encounter,
Yeah,
which
about
is
eight episodes, was it, or something?
Well, there was
Yeah.
8 episodes in season 1. There's probably another in season 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do think that they're worth watching. I just watched 2 of them last night. One about a about a shop robbery where some young guys were gonna rob a sort of a small grocery store, and then Jesus comes along and tries to help the situation with
Yep.
one of the robbers, and
Lovely.
got his life turned around, even if it meant going to jail. And
Yeah.
another one was dealing with a married couple, well, not married couple, a couple who were about to elope, who were about 18, and they get a bit of advice from him at another restaurant, but this time he's not owning he doesn't the restaurant doesn't vanish or anything like that.
No, he just works
This
there.
one is he just happens to be in a real restaurant, and by the end of the episode, the real owners arrive and say, we don't open till another hour or
Another
so.
hour or so. Yeah, well,
Which is just like those stories you hear about. A mysterious man opens a restaurant and you just walk in and you think they're the owners, but then they turn out to be an alien.
you mentioned Twilight Zone before.
I did, didn't I?
Now, I think in Twilight Zone, there was one there, a diner out in the middle of nowhere, and there was a bus accident or something or other, and the people went to the diner, and actually the person behind the counter, I can't remember his name, he's a well-known actor back in those days, he was actually an alien, and there was another alien had snuck in there, and they're wondering who was doing what to whom, and everyone thought that something was going strange and blah, blah. There's 2 aliens there. The guy actually ran the place, and the guy snuck in. And then there's been other ones who have done cafes, where people have gone into a cafe, and they've met somebody there who's changed their life. Not necessarily a Christian thing, but more of a supernatural sort of thing like Twilight Zone.
And I remember in a Night Gallery episode which I mentioned to you guys about some cowboys. This is back in the Wild West days, and these guys are sitting in a sort of a bar, tavern, whatever, and each one is awaiting a certain hour to go out
and leave the room and go to wherever. And what the basis of that story was, they're all dead and they're just sort of reliving the last moments on Earth over
and
over again. Yeah. So whether it be shot or hung or whatever. Yeah. And interesting. So the cafes and diners and those sort of things really make a great place to run a story out of.
Yeah, look at one. I think William
Shatner.
Yeah,
went to a little country town there.
Yeah, and with his girlfriend
and a little fortune telling machine.
Yeah.
That was a Twilight Zone. Yeah, and it's going by the little fortune telling machine in the cafe, and saying,
you may predicting the future
about accidents and so and this, that, and the other, and blah blah. And well, hello, it's a piece of paper coming out of a machine, but point still remains interesting. Yeah.
Anyway, I did like this movie. I like the fact that in the end our characters were able to get their lives turned around.
And that's it. And that's the moral of the story, folks. No, the point is that it's a good movie. It's a good story.
Yeah. Also, guys.
And it's actually filmed well and acted well.
Also, guys, they made a second movie to this called
The Encounter.
Yeah.
Gee, it was a funny name, that.
Which is called The Lost Resort.
Lost Resort, I think.
Yeah.
And they've done a couple of years later into what year? The 2000 and I haven't got it written down here.
Yeah, but I'll review that one next time, guys.
Yeah, we might do it next time or a couple of weeks' time or something. But we don't make this necessarily a religious forum, but we're not ashamed or scared of bringing the odd Christian movie in.
But you got to admit, guys, it did have a good storyline.
It's a good storyline, and look, the acting's good. And I mean, I've got to take my hat off to Bruce Marciano because he does portray a good contemporary version of Jesus, how you would expect him to be in today's modern society. He's not going to force his way in. There's a piece of artwork called The Light of the World, and I can't remember who the painter was, and had Jesus knocking on a door of a cottage, but there was no door handle on the outside. And someone had a word to the artist, said, "Oh, you forgot the door handle." And he said, "No, I didn't. Jesus is knocking on the door. it's up to you to let him in. And I think this is the basis or the theme behind all these sorts of movies.
Yes. So
Yeah, well, he's not going to force his way in. He's going to say, "Here I am, if you want me."
yeah. See, that was the mess. When when I mentioned about Nick, how Nick he all the time in this movie, Jesus tries to get him to open up and realize to let Jesus into his life, or at least God into his life. He knows the Bible, obviously, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't let it in because he feels either it would make him feel weaker or
Not in control,
not
or
under
something
control,
or other,
or something like that.
Isn't this the nasty, arrogant, self-made businessman who's making his fortune and yada yada yada?
Yeah.
And even when his things were mentioned to him that no one could possibly know, and the average person would say, "This guy must be who he says." He still didn't want anything of it. So yeah, wow.
Yeah, but then again, he
Interesting.
he is a famous football player
He
in
made
the
a lot of
end,
money.
and no doubt he would get interviewed, questioned about his past, maybe a bit about his and stuff like that. He definitely can question whether or not how Jesus knew about the other people's lives, considering that they weren't wealthy, they were just ordinary
Yeah, but
people.
he knew about his grandmother. All about his grandmother. Told him about it. I don't remember. He knew about her.
Yeah,
He remembered her. He just blocked her
yeah.
from his memory, and then he started to remember who she was and what she was like.
She was a
And,
nice, calm, good Christian lady who
yeah.
loved her
and
grandson.
prayed for him all the time, hoping he'd be a good man. So anyway, again, sorry, it sounds like a religious forum. It's not.
We're just trying to bring up the fact that
The movie. It's a Christian movie. Yeah.
that Jesus was trying his absolute hardest to open him up,
Yeah.
but by the time he walked out the door, I think deep down Jesus probably felt a little bit sad.
Yeah, another lost soul. Yeah.
Yeah, that will probably take a million to claim his life to Jesus,
Yeah.
or maybe not. I don't know how it works.
What are you talking about now?
I don't know. I don't know how it works if your soul is condemned to go to hell
It
and all
stays
that
there
stuff
forever, okay?
and all that.
It stays there forever.
Would you ever get redeemed?
Do you ever see Lucifer TV series?
Yep.
Okay. You don't get out. There's no getting out of jail free. You're stuck in there, okay?
Yeah, true.
Hey, I like Tom Ellis too. He's really good. Now, he's the other side of the coin.
Yeah, I did feel
sorry.
a little sorry for that. In the end, Nick will probably regret.
He got what he wanted.
Yeah.
He got what he wanted.
Yeah. He even when Jesus talked about hell and about how it was a place of there's no love and no devotion. There's
He didn't care.
There's just
So he got what he wanted.
He thinks that all of God he'll be away from all God's shall nots and
Yeah, he
and
said there won't be
rules and
any shall
regulations.
nots. He won't not do anything anyway. But
Yeah, all you have is torment and stuff like that. That's
and he
what
got
he
what
said.
he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I bet now he's probably wishing and regretting that his decision.
Boy, was he wrong, hey. Anyway, irrespective.
Anyway, let's rate this movie now because I don't want
Now.
to. I don't want to go and turn this into
Now.
this.
I don't know how this was actually released. I don't know if it went to theatre or direct to TV or direct to video or whatever.
I think it went to directly to DVD. I think
Okay,
maybe
no, because obviously
because
I don't think it's a major player as an A movie,
Guys,
B movie scenario.
most religious movies I've ever seen
yeah.
go. Well, not all of them. I mean,
A lot of them, yeah.
some of them either go to ABC. Some of them,
No,
or
yeah,
ABC or Channel 7,
or BBCs or whatever, yeah.
or well, if it's a
all those
popular
places.
one like Charlton Heston's Ten Commandments or
Yeah, theirs has
King
to
of
be
Kings.
the biblical epics.
They're-
That different category.
Yeah.
But these ones here, it's probably gone straight to DVD or one of those sort of religious channels or Sky or something or other. Don't know where it went. Don't know how much it was cost to make. All I can tell you is it's a good movie. Tells a good story, and it does make you. I mean, it made me think a little bit about my life, and am I doing good or bad, or could I do better, or whatever. No, I'm not the best Christian in the world, but I am a Christian. Not scared to say it.
Me neither.
But I'm not perfect. Okay, there's room for improvement. But I'm going to give this. I don't often give a movie a 10, but in this type of genre, I think it's one of the better Christian movies I've seen for an awful long time, where it's not in your face with lots of platitudes and different things. It's in your, it's there as a real movie, and that's what attracts me to it. And movies such as this, that this group of people, Bruce and the people he's acting with, are committed to giving.
Yeah,
So yeah,
apart
I'm
from
going to give it 10.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10 too. Also, I did check out another movie he did not too long ago called Allison's
Choice?
Choice,
Yeah, it's about
which
the
deals with
abortion.
deals with a girl who's contemplating abortion with her child and all that
Yeah,
stuff. And while everyone around, some people give her encouragement, tell her that the best ways to not do this, and others like doctors would tell her, go ahead,
yeah,
get
wop it
rid of
out.
it.
Yeah,
It'll ruin your life if you
but
just do it.
yeah,
Doctors are just, and of course, Bruce, who's playing Jesus in this one, says that the doctors tend to do tell you the opposite to these things because they want to make money.
yeah.
And I keep thinking
And
about,
well, that's possible too.
and
Yeah.
I keep thinking of a friend that me and Mike had a while back who listens to the doctors instead of his friends more when I think about it, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, my friend of mine passed away because he listened to the doctors, and the doctors didn't do the right thing, and he passed away from bowel cancer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I didn't want to bring that up, guys.
No,
It's
but he
not,
no,
it's
you
something,
a good point.
it's not proud.
He listened to the doctors. I tried to help him, and I'm the one who picked up on his bowel cancer, not the doctors. Not bowel cancer, prostate cancer. Sorry.
Sorry.
His prostate cancer. I'm the one who told him to get his blood test done. He'd been seeing a doctor for 12 months before that, and doctor didn't even ask for a blood test. He got his blood test, and if he had it done 12 months earlier, he could have had an operation. He would have been alive today because his GP let him down. Then the oncologist let him down because we were working on, believe it or not, some of you might not like this, but I made up some cannabis oil for him, and it was reducing his PSA. And his oncologist says, don't take that, it's not approved, do it my way, and if in a year or two he was dead. So yeah.
Well, I didn't want to bring
I don't
that.
like doctors.
I didn't want to bring that part up because
No, you made a good
cannabis
point
is
about
still
doctors.
illegal these days.
There's a thing, an old saying, if not real sure, get a second opinion. You know? Yeah, so you doctors and anything else. But don't necessarily listen to one person. Don't listen to me, I'm just one person. But take on board what I'm saying and, yeah, find out from other sources whether I'm right, wrong, or whatever. Same as Sarah. I mean, we're about a movie. And we don't judge all movies by what the critics say.
Guys,
We judge the movies by what we think.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah.
As I said in the past, we may be right, we may be wrong. Our reviews may either prove the movie either incorrect or bad, or
But we never
even-
go by what the critics say because some critics. So we had one that someone reviewed one of your things, didn't they?
Yeah.
And one of the guys said, "Oh, I don't like these sort of movies, so I'll give it a 0." He didn't evaluate the movie. He didn't say, "Well, I didn't mind the storyline, but even though I don't like that sort of storyline, the filming was good, the acting was good, blah 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 blah." He didn't even give it a halfway point. He just gave it
Yeah.
0. I don't like these. Well, blow it out, you bum. I'm sorry. That's not a review.
This is
Yeah.
not a current review. It was
That's not a
done
review.
years ago,
Yeah,
like
no,
2 years ago.
On a previous thing she did. And I mean, that's not a review. So you don't listen to just one person. You got to listen to other people.
Yeah, at least
Yeah,
try to
what-
find this, some
A common thread, common denominator in all the reviews.
Yeah.
If all reviews say it's bad, if you have, say 10 reviews and 10 reviewers say it's bad, maybe it's bad. But if you got one person say it's bad and the other people say it's good, I wouldn't care what the one bad review was. You see what I mean? So yeah, but whether it's movies, Christianity, doctors, whatever, yeah, it's always good to take a second opinion occasionally, or sit back and think about what you've heard or seen, experienced. Anyway, irrespective. Again, this isn't a religious platform, but I'm in a spiritual mood because it's a movie, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the movie, it gives you certain feedback on different people's lives,
Yeah,
like
and
how God touches our lives. I'm not going to say Jesus because most of us live in different.
I've heard that little voice myself a couple of times. Anyway, we're not going there any further because I don't think everybody wants to hear about the religious side of experiences.
As much as I want to
But anyway,
talk
all
about
I'm going to say is thank you, Bruce, for a good product.
Yeah, guys.
And the other movies you've been in and doing this sort of portrayal.
Yeah, Bruce. Thanks very much. I think I kind of emailed him a while back and told him how much I like his stuff mostly.
Me too.
And I hope that he continues working hard, making more movies that deal with religion.
But I believe Bruce is in a ministry called Marciano Ministries as well. So I think there's a website. If you want to have a quick look at what he's up to, this man walks a walk. He doesn't just talk. I mean, he walks a walk and he talks a talk. Yeah. He's not just card carrying Christian. He actually does it.
Yeah, he attends.
That's what inspires me about this man.
He attends, religious meetups and
seminars, whatever.
And writes books about.
I think he does charity work. Goes out to poor countries and stuff and does things. And I think they're looking for donations on his site too. So don't be scared to put a couple of dollars his way, okay?
Yeah, so he's not just another actor who pretends.
Yeah, no.
He's an actor who's
a real guy.
He's an actor who's probably doing something he cares about.
He certainly does. Anyway, he's a real Christian playing real Christian roles, and he walks a walk. There you go.
So thanks for listening to this latest podcast, guys, and we'll see. And this is Sarah Stephenson
and Michael
saying we'll see you guys for the next one.
Yeah, guys.
Bye now.
Bye.